Imagine being handed the keys to, like, $1 million sports car. The engine is roaring, the track is totally clear, and you've trained your whole life for this exact race.
Oh, yeah. The ultimate dream.
Right. But there's a catch. You have to drive it at top speed through this thick, blinding fog. And if you take your hands off the steering wheel for even a second, you're going to spin out.
That is quite the visual.
Yeah, well, that is exactly the situation you are looking at right now. So, welcome back to Horoscope TV.
Glad to be back. We have so much to cover.
Okay, let's unpack this. We are looking closely at the astrological charts for Capricorns, specifically for the week of March 30 to April 5, 2026.
And this is really not a week where you get to sit in the passenger seat.
Definitely not. The astro data shows this really powerful mix of, stepping up into major leadership roles and finally seeing the financial rewards of all your hard work.
Mhm.
But at the exact same time, you're facing a real need to protect your physical body and your romantic relationships from the stress of all that success.
Yeah, because success has a cost.
Right.
We have a vast amount of astrological charts to analyze today.
Mhm.
And we really want to look at the gears turning behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And we want to show you not just what is going to happen, but why the planets are pushing you in these very specific directions.
Right, because knowing the why changes everything.
It does, because when you understand the mechanics of the transits, like why a specific moon phase interacts with your ruling planet, or why a square creates friction in your daily routine, you can actually steer that sports car instead of just, hoping you don't crash.
And that is the goal. We want you to walk away from this feeling completely equipped. So let's jump right into the center of your universe right now.
Which is career and public life.
Yes, your career. The charts are practically screaming at you to take a brave leap forward. I mean, you have the skills to drive this car. You know the roads.
Oh, absolutely. Capricorns always know the roads.
Right. But the speed of this week means you have to keep your focus locked in.
So the biggest engine driving that speed is the full moon in Libra. That happens on April 2.
Okay, April 2.
Yeah. Now, as someone who follows astrology, it acts as a giant spotlight.
Right. It illuminates whatever is hiding in the dark.
Exactly. But we need to look at the mechanics of why a Libra full moon specifically hits you so hard.
Okay, let's break that down. Why Libra?
Well, Libra forms a square aspect to Capricorn on the zodiac wheel.
And a square is?
It's an angle of friction. It creates tension. And this spotlight is shining directly on your 10th house.
Ah, the 10th house. That's a big one for work, right?
The biggest. It's the sector of your chart that controls your public reputation, your career legacy, and just how the world perceives your authority.
Wow. So since Capricorn is already so naturally wired to care about legacy and reputation, having a bright Libra spotlight there must feel, I don't know, a bit uncomfortable.
Oh, very uncomfortable.
Because Libra energy is so different from Capricorn energy.
Totally different. I mean, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn,
That's right.
which is all about structure, discipline, and slow, careful building. You like to make sure the foundation is rock solid before you show anyone the house.
Right, like don't look at it until the paint is dry and the furniture is arranged perfectly.
Exactly. But Libra is an air sign, ruled by Venus. It's all about public presentation, social grace, and just putting things out into the world for people to see.
Okay, so this full moon is pushing you to just let go of any hidden fears of failure and show the world what you've built.
Yes, even if you feel like that paint isn't entirely dry yet.
Okay, wait. I want to push back on that a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
A Capricorn with a fear of failure. I think most people look at a Capricorn and see, like, the most confident, hardworking person in the room. They always seem like they have everything totally under control. Why would the charts indicate a fear of failure right now?
Well, it's a very specific type of fear. Because you're ruled by Saturn, you carry an enormous sense of responsibility.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. You care so much about the final result that the idea of getting it wrong or, being exposed as someone who doesn't have all the answers, that can be paralyzing.
Oh, wow. So it's like an imposter syndrome kind of thing.
Exactly. You build these amazing structures, but underneath that cool surface, you often wonder if it's really good enough.
That makes a lot of sense.
So the friction of this Libra full moon forces you out of that inner critical voice. The astro data is saying it is time to stop hiding behind the grind.
Stop hiding behind the grind. I love that.
You're being pushed to step into a leadership role, and you just have to accept that you're ready for it.
So it's less about building the house and more about finally handing out the invitations for people to come over and see it.
Precisely. You need to claim your authority. And the cool thing is, the planets are giving you the exact tools to do that, especially on April 3.
April 3,
Yeah.
let's look at that. That's when we see a really beautiful trine between Mercury and Jupiter, right?
Yes, a trine.
And a trine is a 120-degree angle, which basically means the energy between the two planets is flowing really smoothly. They're working together like a well-oiled machine.
Right, no friction there.
So since we know Mercury governs how we process information and speak, and Jupiter expands whatever it touches, this sounds like a massive green light for communication.
Oh, it's one of the absolute best transits you could ask for when you need to make an impact.
Wow, really?
Yeah. When Mercury and Jupiter form a trine, your mind is linked perfectly to your grandest visions. It gives you the exact right words to explain complex structural ideas in a way that just makes people excited.
So you're not just giving a dry report, you're inspiring people.
Exactly. If you have an important client you need to impress, or if you need to negotiate a big contract, April 3 is the day to schedule that meeting.
Circle April 3 on the calendar.
Definitely. Jupiter brings a natural optimism to your usually serious tone, which makes people really want to follow your lead.
I can picture that perfectly.
Yeah.
You walk into a room on April 3, you sit at the head of the table, and your ideas just flow.
You aren't forcing anyone to listen. They're leaning in because the vision just makes complete sense.
It's a great feeling.
But if we go back to that fast car analogy, the road isn't perfectly smooth the whole way. We need to talk about March 31.
Ah, yes. March 31.
The charts show a pretty big warning there.
Yes, March 31 requires caution.
Well,
We're seeing some tricky planetary energy sitting right in your career sector.
this is the fog on the track.
That's the fog. It's the kind of transit where wires get crossed, messages get delayed, and there's a really high risk for a frustrating misunderstanding with a boss or a superior.
Ugh, that is the worst timing.
It really is.
Because you have this massive career peak coming on April 2 and April 3, but right before that, on March 31st, you might have this weird, tense exchange with your manager.
Yeah, and that's exactly the kind of thing that can throw a Capricorn completely off their game.
Oh, totally. They'll obsess over a badly worded email all night.
Yes.
So how should they handle this?
The most important strategy on March 31 is non-reaction.
Non-react. Treat it exactly like driving through that thick fog. You do not hit the gas, and you do not yank the steering wheel.
Just keep it steady.
Yes. If your boss sends an email that reads as overly critical, or if a passing comment just feels unfair, do not get defensive.
Do not fire off a long explanation trying to prove you're right.
Exactly. Because the fog means they aren't seeing things clearly either.
Right. They're driving in the same fog.
Yes. The astrological weather that day makes people misinterpret tone. If you lose your cool, that reaction will stick to your reputation and shadow the great energy coming later in the week.
Oof, you don't want that.
You don't. But if you handle a frustrating mix-up with calm professionalism, it actually acts as a test.
Oh, a test.
Yeah, it proves to the people above you that you have the steady hand required for the leadership roles that the April 2 full moon is bringing.
That is such a good way to look at it. Let the fog roll past, keep your headlights on, stay in your lane, and wait for April 2.
Exactly. Just wait it out.
Okay, so stepping up as a leader naturally leads to changes in your bank account, which brings us to the money and finance forecast.
The fun part.
Right. The charts are showing some major movement with your wallet.
They are, and the good news starts right at the beginning of the week on March 30. Venus moves into Taurus.
Okay, Taurus, that's an earth sign, just like Capricorn.
Exactly. So right away, the energy feels familiar, grounded, and very supportive.
And since Venus rules what we value, including our material wealth and our daily income, having it in a fellow earth sign means it's speaking your language.
That is the key. Venus in Taurus is in its home sign. It is incredibly strong there.
Nice.
For a Capricorn, this transit shines a really favorable light on your career earnings. Because you've been putting in so much effort, this placement brings the chances for a real, tangible return.
We're talking cash.
Real cash. We are talking about the possibility of a bonus, a raise, or a new job offer that pays significantly more than your current role. The energy here is stable and very promising for building wealth.
Okay, here is where I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you are working this hard, right, you're stepping into a leadership role, dealing with the stress of March 31, and then you finally get a big bonus because of this Venus energy, why shouldn't you treat yourself?
I know where this is going.
Like, why not buy that flashy watch or put a down payment on a luxury car? You earned it.
I understand the temptation. I really do. And normally a small reward is totally fine. But we have to look ahead to April 5 to see why a big purchase is a really bad idea right now.
Okay, what happens on April 5?
On April 5, the Sun and Jupiter form a square.
Another square, so more tension.
Yes, this is an angle of tension and clash.
So we have the core identity and ego of the Sun clashing with Jupiter's endless desire for expansion.
Exactly. And the mechanics of this clash are fascinating. Jupiter makes everything bigger, right?
Right, like a magnifying glass.
Yes, including your confidence and your optimism. When it squares the Sun, that optimism turns into a massive blind spot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it tricks your brain into feeling invincible. You look at that bonus and think, I have so much money coming in, this is just the beginning, I could afford anything.
The classic trap.
It heavily tempts you to spend money on a luxury item you really do not actually need, all based on this inflated sense of future earnings.
Oh, that makes total sense. It's like going to the grocery store when you're starving.
Huh.
Your brain is convinced you need 50 different snacks, you fill the cart, and then you get home and realize you spent a fortune on things you won't even eat.
That is a perfect way to look at it. The astro charts are warning you not to let a temporary spike of Jupiter-fueled optimism ruin the solid financial foundation that Saturn wants you to build.
Right, Saturn wants the fortress.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, building lasting wealth is always going to be more satisfying for your core nature than a quick thrill from a flashy purchase.
So instead of buying the shiny thing on April 5, what is the action plan for that extra income?
The charts point heavily to long-term planning. Because the Venus and Taurus energy on March 30 is so stable, it's the perfect time to sit down with a money advisor.
Okay.
Take that extra income and focus on retirement accounts, or look at your stock portfolio. As an Earth sign, you thrive on security.
Very true.
Putting that money into a long-term investment will give you a profound sense of peace.
It secures the fortress.
Secure the fortress first. Put the money to work for you. I like that. But building that fortress, chasing career success, stepping up as a leader, it requires an immense amount of energy.
An incredible amount.
Yeah, your body's going to feel the heavy weight of that effort. Which brings us to a really crucial part of the astro data, your health and wellness.
This might actually be the most urgent warning we have for you today.
Really? More than the fog.
Yes. The charts show a severe risk of burnout. Your intense focus on your career goals is incredible for your public life, but it is draining your physical reserves fast.
It reminds me of a phone battery.
Imagine your body is a phone this week. You have the screen brightness turned all the way up, you're streaming a movie, and you have like 20 heavy apps running in the background.
Just burning through power.
Yeah. Your career app is open, your financial planning app is open, your leadership app is open. That battery is dropping by the minute. If you do not physically plug it into a wall, the phone is just going to shut down without warning.
That is exactly what's happening under the surface. And remember that Libra full moon on April 2?
The one shining a spotlight on your career.
That same one. It also acts as a loud, blaring alarm bell for your physical body.
Okay, let's analyze the mechanics of that. Why does a full moon, which is a lunar event, affect the physical body of a Capricorn so strongly?
Well, a full moon pulls things to the surface. Just as it pulls the tides of the ocean, it pulls on our nervous system.
Oh, wow.
If you've been ignoring exhaustion or, ignoring a slight ache because you just want to work one more hour, the full moon pulls that physical toll right into the light where you can no longer ignore it.
It forces you to look at it.
Yes. Furthermore, Saturn, your ruling planet, governs the bones, the joints, and the structural support of the body.
So when a Capricorn is stressed, it doesn't just show up as like a mild headache. It shows up in the physical structure of their body.
Precisely. The charts show that you are holding this stress directly in your stiff shoulders and your lower back. You are literally carrying the heavy weight of your ambitions on your joints.
Ouch. The problem is you cannot just tell a Capricorn to relax.
No, you really can't.
Telling a Capricorn to relax is like telling a fish to climb a tree. It just does not compute with their operating system. So what is the actual mechanical action plan here? How do they plug the phone in?
You have to approach your health with the same strict discipline you use for your work. You need an action plan.
An action plan for resting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
First, you must actually schedule short, quiet breaks during your workday. Actually block out the time on your calendar. Treat those 15 minutes like a meeting with your most important client.
So no answering emails during the break. Just stepping totally away.
Absolutely. Stand up, stretch your back, and rest your eyes by looking away from the screen. The charts also highly suggest seeking out treatments that release physical tension.
Like a massage.
Yes. Booking a deep tissue massage this week would be an excellent use of your time.
Okay, book the massage.
And if you can't do that, practicing gentle yoga, specifically targeted at the lower back, will really help release the tension Saturn is holding there. You have to actively participate in your rest, or your body will literally force you to stop.
Schedule the rest. Make it a goal. And a Capricorn will achieve it.
They will.
Now, with all the stress from work and the need to protect your health, we have to look at how this impacts your personal life. The people waiting for you at home or the people you're trying to date, they're going to feel this energy too. Let's look at love and romance.
There's a beautiful shift happening here, but it comes with a later warning.
Okay, start with the beautiful shift.
We talked about Venus moving into Taurus on March 30 for your finances. But Taurus also rules your romance sector.
Oh, nice double duty.
Yeah. When Venus enters this area, it brings a wave of calm stability and unwavering loyalty to your relationships.
Which sounds like the perfect antidote to all the stress of the workplace.
It really is. Venus in Taurus is sweet, it's playful, and deeply sensual. If you're a single Capricorn, this transit means you naturally attract people who are grounded and reliable.
So no flighty people.
No. You're sending out a frequency that says you want a serious long-term commitment, and the universe will bring you people who match that vibration. You are not going to attract people who want drama this week.
That is great news for singles. Just look for the person who feels solid.
Exactly.
What about Capricorns who are already in a committed relationship?
For coupled Capricorns, March 30 and the days immediately following are a golden opportunity. Because you're so focused on your career, your partner might be feeling a little neglected.
Yeah, that makes sense with the long hours.
So this Venus transit is a perfect time to plan a fun, romantic evening. It's your chance to show your partner how much you appreciate their constant support. Use this smooth energy to reconnect and just remind them why you're working so hard.
That sounds lovely. But looking at the charts, there's a sharp turn later in the week.
Yes, there is.
On April 3, the exact same day as that great communication transit we talked about, we see a square between Venus and Pluto. We know a square brings friction. How do we balance sweet loyalty at the start of the week with Venus clashing with Pluto just a few days later?
This is where the mechanics of astrology get really fascinating. While Venus wants harmony and connection, Pluto is the planet of the underworld.
The underworld. That sounds intense.
It is. It rules our hidden fears, power dynamics, and the deep fear of loss. When Venus squares Pluto, those hidden fears bubble right up into your romantic life.
Okay.
It brings a sudden risk of control issues or completely unfounded jealousy.
Let's unpack unfounded jealousy. Does that mean there's no actual threat, but your brain is manufacturing one anyway?
Exactly. Remember the pressure we discussed in your career sector?
The fog in the sports car.
Yes. The need to control every single detail of that fast sports car.
Oh.
When you're under that much stress, the desire for control bleeds over into your personal life around April 3.
Oh, I see.
You might feel a sudden urge to, check your partner's phone or feel insecure if they're just spending time with friends. The stress of the week turns into a fear of losing what you have. And that fear manifests as trying to control the person you love.
Wow. So the stress has to go somewhere. And if you aren't managing it with those scheduled breaks we talked about, it comes out as jealousy or trying to micromanage your partner.
Yes, exactly.
How do they stop this from ruining the good energy Venus brought earlier in the week?
The key here is awareness. When you feel that sudden grip of jealousy or the need to dictate your partner's actions on April 3, you need to just step back.
Take a breath.
Look at the mechanics of your own mind. Ask yourself, is this based on actual evidence, or is this just my stress looking for a target?
That's a great question to ask.
The astro data shows these feelings are just an illusion created by the Pluto square. You must actively choose to let those thoughts pass without acting on them. Do not start a fight over a scenario you invented in your head.
So lean back on the stable loyalty that Venus established on March 30?
Exactly. Remember that stability.
That is a powerful tool. Just knowing that it's Pluto pushing your buttons makes it so much easier to take a breath and walk away from an argument.
It really does.
Okay, we've covered the career leaps, the money warnings, the physical burnout, and the romantic balance. Now we want to look at your winning tools and your cosmic teammates.
The practical tool.
Yes, we're looking at the exact colors, numbers, and types of people you should lean on or avoid to navigate this week successfully.
Let's do it.
Let's start with the color of the week. The charts point specifically to brown, and we even have a hex code. #8B4513.
Yes, a very specific, rich brown. We should analyze why this specific wavelength of color is so vital for you right now.
Please do.
Brown represents the soil. It represents the solid ground and the trunk of a tree. It is the ultimate expression of earth energy.
And as an earth sign, Capricorn already has a natural affinity for that. But why do they need it this week specifically?
Because your mind is operating at such a high speed, with all these career visions, and your stress levels are just so elevated. Think of it like a lightning rod.
Oh, okay, a lightning
A
rod.
lightning rod needs to be grounded deeply into the earth to safely disperse a massive strike of electricity.
Right, otherwise the house burns down.
Exactly. Surrounding yourself with brown, whether it's a sweater, a coffee mug on your desk, or even just setting that color as your phone background, acts as a visual grounding wire.
Oh, that's clever.
It quietly reminds your nervous system to stay rooted, stable, and focused.
Yeah.
It absorbs all that frantic energy of the week.
I love the idea of a brown coffee mug acting as a secret grounding tool during a stressful meeting. Like, no one else knows what it's doing for you.
It's your secret weapon.
That's great. Now, the charts also highlight some lucky numbers for you. 10, 22, 36, 44, 50, and 61.
Right. And in numerology, seeing these numbers repeat, maybe in a contract, the time on a clock, or a room number, is a signal that you're aligned with the current cosmic flow.
It's like the universe winking at you.
Exactly.
And your best dates to take action are March 30 and April 2. Now let's talk about the people around you.
Yes, the teammates.
The astro data clearly shows your best match this week is Cancer and your worst match is Libra. Now, I have a thought on this.
Go ahead.
Being around a Cancer this week feels like wrapping yourself in a warm, thick blanket after you've spent 12 hours outside in a freezing snowstorm. It's a refuge. But being around a Libra right now is like coming in from that exact same snowstorm, totally exhausted, and someone hands you a loud party invitation and demands you help them finalize the guest list immediately.
Yes.
It is the exact opposite of what your system needs.
That captures the dynamic perfectly.
Yeah.
Let's analyze the astrological gears turning here. Cancer is a water sign.
Yeah.
And like Capricorn, it's a cardinal sign, meaning they're initiators. But Cancer initiates emotion and nurturing, whereas you initiate structure and ambition. They sit exactly opposite you on the zodiac wheel.
And usually, opposites can clash, but here you're saying it's a perfect balance. Why is that?
Because Cancer provides the exact element you are missing right now. While you are aggressively navigating the corporate ladder, a Cancer offers emotional intuition.
Oh.
They do not care about your job title. They care about the state of your heart. They provide a safe, warm home life.
That sounds so nice.
When you spend time with a Cancer this week, their deep devotion complements your need for absolute stability. They make you feel safe, which is exactly what you need to recharge your battery.
Right, the phone battery.
Exactly. They understand your ambition and are just happy to support you from a place of comfort.
So find the Cancers in your life. Call them, have dinner with them, or just sit on the couch with them in silence and soak up that calming water energy.
Yes, highly recommended.
But then we have the warning. Libra is your least compatible sign this week. Now, we already mentioned the full moon is in Libra, which is great for your career spotlight.
Right.
But dealing with actual Libra individuals is a different story right now. Why must Capricorns maintain their distance?
It really comes down to fundamentally opposing approaches to problem solving, especially when that cosmic tension hits around April 5.
Okay, break that down.
You want efficiency. You gather the facts, make a firm decision, and execute. Libras are an air sign ruled by Venus. They want social harmony.
Right, they want everyone to be happy.
Yes, they want to discuss abstract ideas, and most importantly, they want to weigh every single option before making a choice.
Which is fine on a normal Tuesday. But when you're driving the sports car through the fog, someone sitting next to you debating which radio station to play is going to drive you crazy.
Exactly. It will feel completely frivolous to you.
Yeah.
The major issue occurs around that April 5 Sun-Jupiter square, when everyone's tension is running high.
Yeah.
A Libra's natural indecision, combined with their desire for you to constantly validate their choices, could easily cause you to lose your temper.
And we established earlier that losing your cool is the one thing you cannot afford to do, especially with the lingering fog from March 31.
Correct. Their inability to commit to a quick choice will directly threaten your goal-oriented timeline.
So what's the move here?
The best strategy is to maintain a strict, polite, professional distance. Do not rely on them for urgent answers this week, and really try to avoid partnering with them on fast-moving projects. You have to protect your energy.
Protect your energy. That really brings the whole picture into focus.
It does.
This week is basically a masterclass in balance. You are being handed the keys to the fast car, pushed to take the spotlight, and given the communication tools to actually succeed.
Mhm.
But the universe is demanding that you manage your stress, take care of your physical body, let go of unfounded jealousy, and carefully choose your teammates.
It is an intense ride, but honestly, Capricorn is built for endurance.
They absolutely have the endurance. They just have to use the mechanics we outlined today. Schedule the physical rest, ignore the urge to impulse buy, and lean on the people who actually bring you peace.
Exactly. Just follow the charts.
Right. Which brings me to one final thought I want to leave you with as you head into this week.
Let's hear it.
The charts show clearly that Cancer energy is your safe harbor and Libra energy is a major friction point. So I want you to take an honest look at your daily routine.
Hmm.
Are you wasting your precious, limited energy trying to impress or manage the indecisive people in your world? Are you draining your battery trying to force a Libra to make a choice instead of simply walking away and soaking up the quiet support of the Cancers who actually understand your goals?
That is a great question to ask yourself.
Protect your time. You are driving a really fast car. Do not let anyone who doesn't know the route ride in the passenger seat. Thank you so much for joining us and listening to this episode on Horoscope TV.
Yes, thank you for your time and your focus. We hope analyzing these charts helps you steer through the week ahead.
And if you enjoyed our conversation today and want to make sure you're always prepared for what the planets are bringing your way, we highly suggest you subscribe to Horoscope TV right now. That way, you'll get notified the moment the next episode is available. Stay grounded, stay focused, and we will see you next time.